Welcome to another episode of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. My name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. And on this episode, we're going to explore some big what if questions. And why would we want to explore some of these? Because just by asking ourselves these questions, it'll change our reality. It'll change our environment inside of us and around us. It'll change the way we think, the way we work, the way we network, the way we grow. So it seems that these are really, really simple on the surface, these questions. However, when you sit with them and you think about these can be incredibly powerful. So let's look at some different questions here. So, what if? We're thinking, what if? So, as you're listening to this episode, think, what if? Think, what if I was actually doing this? What would that get for me? What would that allow me to do? And that'll already put you in the mindset of that. And the thing is that's how I designed a lot of my trainings that I teach. I'm giving people information in such a way that it builds motivation. I want to tell them why they need to learn it. So I did that already during this. Then I'm going to give them some what? So I'm going to give them some facts, some figures, some numbers, some information. And then I'm going to tell them how they can do it. And at that point, once someone knows how and what and why, they're going to start naturally thinking, what if? So a lot of these episodes are designed in this way as well. So you should already be thinking, what if? What if I use this? What if I ask myself these questions? What if whatever the episode is about, you can start to think about doing these. So here's some questions. What if you treated every person as though they had something to teach you? And what if you only surrounded yourself with people who inspired you? So I really like these questions because they get to the heart of how we relate to other people. And at the same time, they show us how other people can help us. So we're really here to observe our thoughts and our emotions. What if we were observing the same thing in other people and allowed each interaction that we had to really give us more success, duplicate our growth, and take the excellent things in other people and install those in ourselves? So we're thinking about perspective. We're thinking about being really curious and expanding our choices, our possibilities, and our opportunities. So let's look at the first question. What if you treated every person as though they had something to teach you? So go through your routine day. Maybe you interact with your spouse, your kids, colleagues. Maybe you interact with someone at the grocery store when you're out. And most of the time, these moments, they blur. It's a routine. You talk to certain people about certain things probably all the time. What if, though, that you imagine that each of these people had wisdom to share with you? And the only way that you could access that is if you really paid attention to what they were saying. So think about, what are the questions that you would ask these people if they had something to teach you? How curious would you be? How aware would you be of what they're asking you? How intently would you listen? Most of the time, you're probably asking surface level questions to people about their day, especially people in your family. Oh, how's your day? How's this? What if you got really that much deeper about something just about their day? Oh, okay. Yeah, you did that today? I'm really curious to know. What were you thinking as that was happening? What were you feeling? What did you see? What did you hear? Get more details and get really curious, because when you know how someone thinks, it's really going to help you also influence them. And if you know how they think, you'll know how to influence them. And at the same time, when you know how someone thinks, you're going to really start to learn a lot of things from them. So get really, really curious and have a willingness to experiment and ask people different questions so they can teach you something. So you can get into these deep, meaningful conversations. Because this is everyone around us. I mean, I've talked to people just out and about, and you just ask them simple questions. Say hello. How long you been working here? Simple questions that you would ask anyone. And then people, naturally, they like to talk about themselves. So they're going to tell you stories. And next thing you know, you might be in a 5, 10, 15, 20-minute conversation with someone where they share how they built resilience after losing everything in a financial crisis, for example. How they rebuilt their life from scratch, the discipline it took, and how they found small joy in all the little things, something like this. So just by asking people questions when you're out and about as well, everyone has something to teach you. You don't know where they came from. You don't know how they think yet. I'm not saying that you need to go out and talk to everyone for 20 minutes. When you feel like it, though, not people just in your inner circle, ask people questions. Get curious about them. Because these conversations, you may learn a lot more from these conversations than you do listening to any of these podcasts, anything you read in a book, anything you've learned in a training. Why? Because if you treat people as though they have something to teach you, they're going to, and you're going to learn. Because when you read that book, what do you think? I'm going to learn something from the book. When you listen to this podcast, what do you think? I'm interested in this episode. I'm going to learn something from this episode. When you sign up for a training and you pay for a training and you go to the training and you invest in yourself, what are you thinking? I can't wait to learn about what's in the training. So what if you had this same thinking with people? Because the truth is, everyone is a teacher. And the wonderful thing about also being a teacher, when I teach, I also learn the most because people ask me questions. And when people ask me questions, they may ask something very similar to a student before them, but they say it in their own way. And there's always a light bulb that goes off in my head, and I'm like, I've never heard the question like that before. And it's so fascinating how this person thinks. So think about it. When we were children, we asked why way too many times to count in one day. We were curious, though, and we were imagining different things. So that difficult coworker, maybe they're teaching you about patience, or maybe they're teaching you how to set boundaries. The Uber driver, maybe they're teaching you about different perspectives that you can have depending on their upbringing, or about persistence, resilience, whatever it is. If you move through the world and your reality believing that people have something to offer to you, then you're going to stop dismissing people and you're going to start learning more and more about them. Now, this means that you can also share about you, and you can also teach things to other people. And that'll help you build these connections as well. Because if you think about it, you can build a really strong network doing this. So think about one person in your life who you often overlook. What might they be able to teach you if you asked questions and you really paid attention with curiosity? So the next time you talk to someone, ask an open-ended question because you're curious, because you're genuine and authentic and really want to know. You can even ask something, what's the most important lesson you've learned this year? Then pause and listen. No need to even respond. So they're going to tell you something that they learned. And maybe it's something you haven't even learned yet. So what a nice question that you can ask someone. So you can learn something from everyone. Everyone, there's so many teachers around you if you give them the time. So what's the second question? What if you only surrounded yourself with people who inspired you? Now let's flip this a bit. It's not only about what we can learn from anyone. It's also being intentional about the people that we have in our inner circle. So this is all about designing your environment so you're around people who inspire you. You've probably heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So whether that's 5, 10, 15, 20, however many it is, 2, 3, this is true. Your environment definitely can help shape your reality. I was just speaking with a client the other day, and they wanted to achieve some really big things. And so I was pushing them on updating their environment. I was asking them not about the people now so much. I said, if you're achieving this big goal that you have in 1 year, what's going to be your ideal environment? Who's going to be people in your inner circle in 1 year? And they had to start considering people that weren't in their inner circle now. So if you spend time with people who play small, make excuses, guess what? You're going to take on some of that energy if you're not protecting yourself. However, if you're surrounded by people who dream bigger, who are pushing themselves, just like I said, I was pushing this person, and they're challenging you to do the same, then you naturally rise to their level. So anytime that you're around people, I'm not saying that you need to cut people out of your life. Think about it though. Does this person truly inspire me? If they don't, that's fine. That's totally okay. You can still be friends with them, have a relationship with them, whatever it is. Ask yourself though, who are people that I haven't considered that I would love to have in my inner circle who are going to inspire me? I remember the first time I went to a training. I had never been to the place the training was at, and I went, and the Uber driver said, here it is. And it was at an apartment complex. And I thought, why am I at an apartment complex? I thought I was going to a training. So I went upstairs, kind of stood out on the balcony where all the units were, and someone came out the door, and they're like, hey, are you here for the training? And I was like, yeah. They're like, come, it's in my apartment. And this person wasn't even the trainer. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe they're helping with the trainer, with the training, whatever it is. And when I got in there, I had some mixed feelings, whatever it is. And then I noticed that we were all there to learn. We're all there to change our reality. We were all there to raise our standards, to achieve more things, to get rid of anything that wasn't serving us. So I started to notice that all these people were inspiring me. So every conversation I had got me closer to where I wanted to go, and I was learning so much about different people and what they were doing, because people were taking the training with their husband, their wife as well. So it was interesting to see what we were learning in this dynamic too. So everyone was inspiring each other. So you need to think about that. Inspiration doesn't mean that it's going to come from people who are ahead of you, let's say, or however you picture that. Sometimes it comes from peers. So just like that, we were all peers in the same training. The thing is you want to have the intention that you're going to be inspired by people. So think about this, reflect on this. Who are the people that you spend a lot of time with? Do they inspire you, challenge you? Are they really supportive of what you're doing? Or are they draining you, discouraging you, and holding you back? Think about that. Are they bringing really good things, or are they taking away some stuff? Manage your energy, see what it is. And then what you can do to take action is think about one person who inspires you. A friend, a family member, a mentor, or someone you haven't even met yet. Reach out to them. Have a conversation with this person. Spend time with them where you're really curious and asking questions. Imagine all the things that you could learn from them, all the learnings, all the understandings that you could have. I'm wondering about this, and it's a really good thing to wonder, because imagine all the things that could happen. At the same time, create boundaries around relationships where you're not totally inspired. Because, like I said, you want to manage your energy each way. So these questions, they balance each other in a certain way. So when you treat everyone as though they have something to teach you, you stay curious. You're open. You're humble. When you surround yourself with people who inspire you, you're motivated, ambitious, elevated. So these questions matter. One opens your mind, piques that curiosity, and really expands all of your perspectives. And the other one really raises your standards. So imagine if you use each of these every day. So you're learning something from people around you, and at the same time, you're intentionally placing yourself in environments that keep you moving forward into new levels. I think this is a pretty good recipe for exponential growth. So let's circle back. What if you treated every person as though they had something to teach you? You'd be learning all the time, wouldn't you? And what if you surrounded yourself with people who inspired you? You'd always grow, wouldn't you? So these what-if questions, it's not just to expand your thinking. They're choices that you can decide to make right now. So do each of these. I already gave you the action steps for each of them. Approach every person as a potential teacher. And at the same time, take steps forward, surrounding yourself with more and more and more and more inspiration. I'm sure you'll see how your perspectives, your energy, your growth, your abundance, the emotions you have, everything begins to shift. So thanks so much for tuning into this episode. Go ahead, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who will benefit. If you haven't already, go ahead and rate the podcast wherever you are listening. There's more and more people listening. I'm seeing more and more downloads, so thanks so much for sharing it, because it really helps to help get this in the mind of so many other people. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.